I painted my dark data backsplash, and apparently that's pretty controversial. I started by making sure that my backsplash was completely clean, so I scrubbed it with steel wool, then I scuff sanded the backsplash with 120 grit sandpaper so the primer would adhere well, and I removed the silicone caulk. I taped off the backsplash so that the surrounding areas wouldn't get paint on them. And next, I covered my counters with painter's plastic so that I wouldn't get any splatters of paint on my countertops because, trust me, you do not want to be picking off little white specks of paint off your countertop. Then I moved on to priming my backsplash. I ended up using 2 coats of primer overall, and it's really important to prime your surface for maximum paint adhesion. I ended up painting on 2 coats of white paint for a really durable finish in Bear Marquee Satin Finish. After painting my kitchen backsplash white, I decided I wanted a little bit more variation. I really like the look of this Bedrosian quote tile, and I really like the different grays and whites in there, and I really wanted to emulate it. I had a lot of different whites and grays, so I decided that I could mix them together in order to find coordinating hues. And so I did exactly that. You can see me mixing some paint together, and overall, I was able to find about 11 different hues to work with. Then I began the very slow process of painting each individual tile. I tried to randomize as best as I could where I placed each individual color. I found that it's much easier to start with the lightest and darkest colors first, and then move into the colors that are the closest to the original color of the main white. So this process would have been a whole lot easier if I had larger tiles rather than mini tiles. Before sealing, I needed to touch up some of the grout paint where some of the tile paint had gotten on it. Then I began applying a gloss coat to each individual tile. If I were to do this again, I would coat the entire backsplash in a matte coat of water-based polyurethane to ensure the grout also got sealed. At this point, my brain is done with this project, and I'm heavily brainstorming about my next project, my daughter's bedroom makeover. After the relief of finally gloss coating the last tile, I began removing the plastic from my countertops and removed the tape from around the painted area. Make sure to use a razor and go over those tape lines a few times. I moved on to caulking. Then what I thought would be a routine caulking experience turned into a hand-hurting nightmare, as I have never had caulk that was so hard to squeeze out. Nevertheless, I persevered and cleaned up the caulking areas and enjoyed the satisfying feeling of seeing those clean caulk lines when the paint was peeled up. And now for the reveal. I cannot believe how much brighter and open my kitchen feels, all thanks to some paint and perseverance. Follow along for more DIYs.